Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of From This Point Forward, a Buffalo Sabres comedy podcast. I'm Louis G here with Chris Plumer, Ryan Muro. We're having all sorts of issues already. It should lead to a great podcast. Let's go.
Starting today, the Buffalo Sabres' reason for existence will be to win a Stanley Cup. I want to keep not only statistically good players, but winners, gritty players. Where's Perro? You're my hero. Winning is not a goal, it is a belief. Twitter, the Tweety Bird twins. Stanley Cup. We're not in this to save money. Pardon my French, panic doesn't seem to work. Oh boy. Starting today, there will be no financial mandates on the Buffalo Sabres hockey department. Lindy ain't going nowhere. Let's get him.
All right, Ryan, you survived the whole open. You're still here. It's awesome. Ryan was having some difficulty setting up, to say the least. We watched it all unfold, and it was a really good way to get the laughter started. Beautiful day here in Buffalo, New York. I'm out on the porch because why wouldn't I be when it's over 65 degrees in April? So here, ready to talk some playoffs, some Sabres. Ryan, are you ready? Are you you okay now? You're still razzled, or what? How are we doing?
I'm just trying not to breathe too much right now because I don't want to knock over my setup. And so, yeah, it's not good. I'm hanging on by a thread here. Look, I was having internet issues the last time, and it's not my internet. It's just like, for whatever reason, this damn platform, every time I connect to it, it just bogs down something. I don't know, but I'm good. I think everyone can hear me. And hopefully my screen doesn't topple over in the middle of some segment.
For the audio listeners and people that are just watching, trying to figure out what could have possibly went wrong, Ryan currently has his laptop balanced on a toothpick, I think. And it fell multiple times as he was setting up, but glad you're
Well,
good
no,
to
I'm
go now.
connected on my phone right now. So we are also running into the problem that now I only have probably about like 36% battery. So I have a hard out at whatever my phone.
That, that's so great. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great, Lou. Glad to see you around the porch so you can watch just in case Robbie Goo comes over to egg your house again for us not paying the Goo Goo Dolls for the intro.
I know. I got to either get that out or get them some money. But funny that you mentioned somebody coming over, because I wanted to actually lead in telling you guys the story. I One problem about being out here doing this is neighbors are walking by. I'm like, hey, but yeah. So I just had. I'm not going to say names. Buffalo Bison's slash Toronto Blue Jay. He is a Toronto Blue Jays. Just got sent down to the Bisons. His wife come and pick up my daughter's old uh, uh, what's the feeding chair, right? High chair.
I,
Sorry,
Yeah.
high chair that I had in Facebook Marketplace for $20, right? And I like whatever. I don't need to tell you
Unopened,
how I got
still
my
in the
info,
box. Didn't even
but
use.
no, that's well, no, it's not. That's the funniest part about this is like, how shitty does it have to be to get sent down in the major leagues? Not only did this guy go from Toronto to Buffalo, now he's sending his wife out with $20 to come get a chair that my daughter shit in over 100 times. Like, that is a really big change for him in a week, huh?
Yeah.
Um,
Picking up a high chair covered in spaghetti sauce because you've never wiped it down once.
Not one time today. Today I was out there with like a toothbrush trying to get in the crevices. I was like so embarrassed. And then I'm helping her get it in, and I realized the whole, bottom of it was dirty. I was like, oh, I cleaned the top. I didn't clean the bottom, but I just helped her get it in and
It
sent
came
her
like,
sent her in.
I promise. It came like that. It ended on there.
Yeah, I don't know why it came with spaghetti sauce down the one leg.
Also, great job not doxing the player by saying he used to be a Toronto Blue Jay and he just got sent down to the Buffalo Bisons. Like, we can't find
Well,
that.
There might be a few players that fit that mold. I don't know. I'm not saying the same name, not saying the name, because maybe we're best friends now. Maybe they call me bitch about the $20 dirty chair that I gave them, and I apologize and I say, hey, come get your money back. And then when they come to get their money back, I'm like, oh, hey, dude, you play baseball? Not for nothing. Used to play a little catcher back in the day. And then we go play catch in the park, and then we're best friends.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. is never going to be your dad, Lou.
Dude, how awesome would it be if Vlad Guerrero, fresh off of the $180 billion contract, he just signed? He's just sending his wife out in Facebook
He haggles
Marketplace.
too. She shows up with $18.
That's so good. All right. Well, we got we're 20 minutes into our supposed podcast time. Only have 6 minutes on air and haven't talked hockey. So let's start with currently. Let's talk a little bit of NHL playoffs. You walked in the room right away and you said, oh, we've been way off. And I didn't want to say this, but I mean, it was you and your Hellebuck. And I think the worst thing anybody said was you gave Hellebuck the whole, and now he's falling apart. It's the Chris Plumer curse.
I saw, listen, I've completely flip-flopped on all of my playoff predictions after actually watching the games. It turns out 2-minute and 30-second highlights aren't enough to get a read on a team in the playoffs. And I saw a stat about Hellebuck today in the playoffs where he's like 4-10 and has like a .83 save percentage. And those games last week were an anomaly. Like, yeah, he's bad in the playoffs. I didn't know this.
Not a 4.83.
.83.
Oh, okay. That's even horrible. But Jesus, wow. No, I did not. That's brutal.
Yeah, I learned that today. And I probably should have realized that watching Winnipeg get shelled the last two games.
It is crazy. I mean, goalies, right, are just like this. They're a special breed. I know we always say that's like the easy thing to say, that they're like maniacs and mental cases. But man, I mean, this dude has been one of the best goalies in the league, for the last 5 years. And like you said, this isn't his first real struggle, but these last two games, he looks, lost.
He looks
I know
like he's an emergency goalie.
Yeah,
the past two games.
Rough.
I think the difference with goalie versus every other position, maybe in sports, I would equate it to like golf, right? So if you're not right mentally in golf, there's no chance. You could be the best physical, specimen ever. Doesn't matter. If you don't have your mental right, you're not going to be good. So that's what I think is just what's going on with Hellebuck right now. And it's also just the puck luck stuff. I mean, that's what is also just remarkable about the Sabres drought, is that over the course of 14 years, we haven't just stumbled into some more puck luck to get us, better, odds of making the playoffs. But anyways, it's just so random. I don't think there's really any way to predict it. So yeah, maybe he has a bad playoff record, but that could be attributed to a lot of different things.
I've got the full stat line over the last three postseasons. 4-10 record, .863 save percentage, 4.27 goals against, and 4+ goals in 10 of his 14 starts. That's insanely bad.
Speaking of head case goalies, we shouldn't have given the hosting duties on this podcast to the kid with ADHD, but I just got wrapped around to a story how you guys connect that you might not know this. Uh, Me and Chris Plumer went and played ice hockey, comedy hockey, or was it even ice hockey last year? Or was it roller hockey last year? Whatever it
It was
was the last
floor
time.
hockey last
Floor
year.
hockey, yeah, okay, floor hockey, and
Shameful.
we played not great, and as we were getting off the ice, we there was a goalie there getting off the ice, and we said, "Hey, do you want to come play some goalie for us?" And he said, "Oh no!" He took a look at us and he goes, "Hell no!" Later on, I found out that it was Ryan Mira who denied playing goalie for us after watching it. So
He was right to do that because we put a cone in the net in your place, Ryan, and the cone had a great cone did better than Hellybuck did.
the cone did not do.
Well,
Bad.
I regret not joining for that. I do remember that, but I didn't know that it was you guys, playing. If I had known that I knew some of the guys, I would have definitely played. It would have been fun.
Usually I'm the one in most social environments where these guys will be like, any kind of the comment will be like, Louis, you're the idiot. You go talk to somebody. But for whatever reason that night, I was so embarrassed by not just myself, but just all of us that I was like, I don't give a shit who that goalie is. I ain't going to talk to him. And little did I like found out later, we're just, Ryan and I are just like talking in a phone conversation. He's like, "Oh, dude, that was me." And so I didn't even realize it was him. I could have convinced him. But yeah, it would have been a really strong matchup to have him on one side and the Cone on the other side because, like I said, Cone stood up that night.
Cone had a great night.
Yeah, don't sleep on Cone.
All right, so that series is 2-2, Winnipeg, St. Louis. I still got to think Winnipeg gets it together. I mean, they were embarrassed 2 games in a row. They go back to Winnipeg. He's got to get his head right. How quickly do you like? Is he that good that he could have another? They could go down 3-0 in the first, and they don't pull him, or do they? Are they done?
After
Like,
the past 2 games, what was it? 6 and 7 in the last 2 games. If he lets up 3 early, I feel like you have to. The
yeah, like
season's on the line.
what chases him? I'm interested to find out what will chase him. But
Usually I feel like the plug is pulled more as like a lifeline to the goalie, even sometimes, right? Not necessarily even putting the blame on him. It's like, all right, you got 3 quick early ones, like you kind of know it's coming. We need this just to spark the team, so we're gonna pull you. But I think they would have to be, like 6 shots, 3 goals. It has to be something like that for him to get pulled that early.
Yeah, like if they give up 3 in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, even if they're getting swarmed and he lets in 3 and they have 12 quick shots, like the team is floundering.
yeah, yeah, I still want to say that he gets it together. They figure this out. I think they're the much better team. St. Louis got really hot at the end, but they got they just have like a lot of. They don't have back end depth. I mean, they're getting weak goals for the last 2 games from Hellebuck just struggling. I just think he gets it together. They find a way to pull through. I don't think Winnipeg's as good as we all think they are, and as good as they played in the regular season. But I think they are the much better team here. I think they figured it out. The most fun series so far, at least for me, has been Dallas, Colorado. I think me and Plumer both picked Dallas. I don't know if we got to your prediction on that specific series, Ryan, or how you felt about it, but that series has been exactly what you expected it to be. high scoring, good games, and another one here tonight that should, factor the series. What have you thoughts, Chris?
I've flipped and I'm all Colorado now. I told you I've completely flip flopped on everything.
Everything you've said.
Absolutely.
What has made you flip flop on to Colorado?
I think I just think Colorado has it's going to sound stupid to say, but like I feel like they've got the more seasoned deep playoff roster that has a little more commitment to a long grinding series.
Yeah.
Like if it's razzle dazzle, but if it comes down to grinding the corners when we get to game 5 and 6, like that's all Colorado. I don't see it as much in Dallas.
Colorado a minus. I think I saw a minus 140 favorite in Dallas tonight. So obviously a pivotal game 5. Have you caught much of it, Mira, to have any kind of opinion?
No, I haven't, but my initial take was Dallas over Colorado. I had them advancing over Winnipeg in the next round too, making all the way to the conference final before losing to Edmonton, who I kind of like how they've looked. I still feel like that was maybe one of my smarter calls. Like, I mean, I know you're winning in overtime, you're winning tight games, but you're hanging in there with the Kings. So I've been happy with the way that they've looked. And this was again, I predicted that they would have a good run because I wanted Connor McDavid in a Buffalo uniform. So naturally, he's going to. So.
I don't want to kick back on you to make you just to argue with you, but I have felt that series has, and I thought Edmonton would win. I'm kind of pulling for Edmonton. I want to see, as I talked last week, the Edmonton Toronto like Stanley Cup. They've got, to me, they've been outplayed a lot in that series, and I mean coming back last night, or was that last night? That I mean that really it was a kind of in my opinion a collapse by the Kings, and now they're like, to your point, Ryan, like back in it. They're in a good spot, and they're not. LA still has the home ice, but it should it should be a really fun
something that
best of 3 now.
Something that I remember about playoff series now, going back to many years, but just like the tides turning and almost you kind of hoping that your team goes through a bit of adversity, right? That you can weather that you show signs that you can come back in the next game, respond. So yeah, I that series is still very much in the air, but I'm still pretty confident that Edmonton moves on.
And to your point, they've already pulled Skinner and gone to Picard, and that happened after game 2, and so they. How many times do we see this, right? As a Sabres fan, we saw it in the big run with Carolina. Cam Ward came in for Gerber and was amazing, and so we see this happen a lot where a guy fails and then they go to a team will go to their number 2 or second option to like go for a spark, and then that guy just gets hot or is prepared better mentally at like Ryan, you let in the show with puck luck, like whatever. That guy could just come in and get better puck luck for 4 games, and it just looks like he's the better goal, whatever. But sometimes, to our point talking about earlier, how they're mental cases. Sometimes these guys get hot and you can't beat them. So, yeah, I like their chances here to pull it out, but gotta still win a game in LA, which will be tough. To close out the conversation, just out west, Vegas, Minnesota has been kind of surprising. I think a lot of teams thought Vegas would roll them, and having a little trouble pulling away from them. Minnesota's a really good team, and they're physical. I've enjoyed watching that. I'm kind of pulling for Minnesota, just like out of Eichel hate, but not much to add to that series. I don't know if either of you do.
I think you're spot on about the assessment of the Wild. Like they're not necessarily a flashy team, but they're a complete team. Which when you get into playoffs and you get into that back and forth, those hits start adding up. Digging in the corners. Vegas is a lot of flash. They got a few guys with some grit, but I think playoff time, that bottom six comes in a lot handier, and I would take the Minnesota bottom six over the Vegas bottom six.
Yeah, I agree with that. Real quick, I'll just kind of run through some of the stuff from these that we either talked about. Toronto sailing, they lost that game in overtime, but they will win that series obviously easily. Florida up 2-1 in that series. Man, they're down 2-1 in that game as we speak, as we're recording right now, so that could be tied. I was surprised to see how many people picked experts and people I respect picked Tampa Bay to win that series. Now again, they're the home they're the home team, they're the better seed, so I guess it's not shocking. But I liked Florida coming off of their win last year to be ready for it. I don't know if people were worried about Tkachuk and how he would look, but man, he is his regular self and scoring on a crazy level right now. So I think Florida ends up winning that series, but they're about to be in a series if Tampa Bay holds on to this game. And then Carolina, Washington, I don't see New Jersey or Montreal really coming back. The Tom Wilson fight, that was fun. Washington, Ryan and I were together when that happened, waiting in line for the Louis C.K. show when Tom Wilson and what's his face were in the bench fighting each other. That was fun to see. Did you see that the hit yesterday that Wilson had that led to the goal, the game winning goal?
Yeah,
where he like ran through what was it, Carrier?
Yeah.
That dude is, I mean, you want to talk about dream player to put on the Sabres team? Like, that dude will just start beating his own teammates up for not trying. I love everything about his game. Any thoughts on the rest of the East bracket or what's happened so far? I'll just kind of keep it simple for you that way. Ryan?
No, I don't. I just, you know what? Listen, it's so hard for me to care about the Stanley Cup champion when this has been the state of the Sabres. Like I'll keep tabs on it because it's entertaining to watch, and if it's there, I'll watch it. But like, man, I don't care. I don't care who wins. I don't care who wins any of these games, and I don't even hate Eichel anymore because he was right. So I don't even be mad. I can't even hate watch it. So it sucks.
Yeah, Chris.
I mean, the only
It
thing
would
I
be
have
really
to
funny
say,
if you're like, I don't give a fuck about who wins this. You just did the same rant. Like, that was.
I mean,
why are you
mine's
doing
the opposite though, because I watched both those games back to back yesterday, and both of them were like the team that lost the game controlled a lot of the pace and action throughout all of it, came up short, and it was both of the teams that like I would compare most to the Sabres in the playoffs right now, like Montreal especially, but New Jersey a little bit because they still have they had a similar build and they still have a little bit of that Lindy stink on them. And it made me so mad that I was getting upset about two teams that I don't give a shit about. And though either one of them could have been the Sabres and disappointing me in the same way, but it would have been the Sabres in the playoffs. It hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. I know this is easy to say, but like, are we at that point that we're like, just get in as an 8 seed, let me go into the arena and feel life again, feel feelings, and then you could get swept and we're good?
Listen,
We'll talk to you next year.
They could extend the playoffs to 16 teams on either side, and I would be thrilled about being the 16 seed on the. I would be
You just want to, yeah.
Just just get in and see what happens. If they got swept, I wouldn't be happy. But for the week before that, I would be like, hey, it's the playoffs, baby. Anything can happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, we are gonna move on here. I want to do a thing, Chris. You brought this up. Why don't you kind of explain what we're gonna do here? I'll let you do that, and then we'll start with you as
Okay.
well.
So, in honor of Mike Sullivan being fired by the Pittsburgh, I'm sorry, going their separate ways with the Pittsburgh Penguins today, after a decade that started with 2 cups and went steadily downhill the rest of his run. Um, a little game, sign, skip, release. It's kind of like F, Mary, Kill, but we're going to do it with Buffalo Drought coaches. So you can sign a coach that we didn't sign during a year when we had a vacancy that you wish they would have gotten. You can skip the regime of a coach that you just wish never happened at all, and release a coach earlier than the team actually did. That maybe it ties into your sign as well. That little bit of sliding doors that what could have been. And that's it.
All right. Well, why don't you start off with the first one, the hire that you wish we would have,
The
and
hire
that
that okay.
yeah.
So I'm going right back to the beginning. 2013 season ends. We move on from Lindy Ruff. And this is a tough one because there were 2 coaches that were available at the start of the 2013 season. One is a technical, so I'm not going to go with him. I am going to go with John Tortorella, being signed to the Sabres in 2013, 2014. He just got let go by the Rangers. He moved on to the Canucks. But I feel like at that time, they fired Lindy but didn't rehaul the roster. And you've got a bunch of Lindy Ruff guys. And Torts has a little bit of that fatherly mean streak in him. And I think if you're going to keep the same roster for another 2.5 seasons after you move on from Lindy, he might have been able to get something out of it instead of just letting it slowly slip away for 2 years before we go into tank mode.
I don't totally disagree with that. I kind of hate Torts, but I respect him a little bit more back then, and I think he was better suited for that last of that generation. I think this new generation of hockey player and just like kids in general just don't respond to guys like that anymore.
I agree.
But I do think he would have, like you said, maybe extended the made the drought a couple less years because he would have extended that a little bit with good hockey teams, especially at that time. I think the biggest reason that, and I don't even remember if he was even brought in or if there was any interest, but to me, looking back at it, 2020, like, do you want to go from someone that the players hated in Lindy to another player, another coach that the players probably would have hated in Tortorella? So that's my only kickback, but it would have definitely led to another year or two of winning, I'm sure. Um, I'm gonna go Gerard Gallant the year that they hired Housley. I think that was the year of, who else was in that year? There's another big name that we would have regretted. Babcock was that the
Oh,
Babcock
yeah.
year, possibly, that everybody wanted, and then of course that went awry really quickly. So good on us for avoiding that. But Gallant would have been, still today. I'm like, is he out there? Is he available? I'm ready to bring him in. Yeah, I think that year, Housley was just not cut out to be an NHL head coach, and I think that was pretty apparent pretty early.
All right,
Ryan.
my one that got away is Bruce Boudreau in the
Okay.
2016 season. I mean, I remember hating the timing of it all then, and it turned out to be so true. I mean, we had Dan Bylsma at the time. We were very clearly going to give him more than 1 year. I mean, the guy had relatively recently at that time had won a Stanley Cup with Pittsburgh. So you knew they were kind of stuck with him, and I just was looking over there and just being like, man, I wonder what this team would look like with Bruce Boudreau. I felt like he was the perfect coach that at that time, and they couldn't make a move.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good one. And I remember feeling very similar in that time. All right, so I will start here on this round of a guy that I would just wish to like kind of just skip over, pretend like it never happened, and that's going to be Ted Nolan, round two. I think that there's an obvious answer to this, and I didn't want to start and take that answer. But I do think that Ted Nolan round two hurt this organization in a lot of ways. It kind of reset the aggravation of the losing and all the bullshit from the few years past. So like it kind of make that was the first like patting the fans on the back and being, don't worry, it's gonna be all okay. We're gonna do this kind of dumb shit for the next 10 years, but we're gonna do whatever it does to make you happy. And I just wish that was used any way else, and the whole LaFontaine situation and everything just went awry with that whole thing, and it just couldn't have been done worse. I wish we could have just skipped over that because that team wasn't bad. A team could have gotten to that team could have they just put Nolan in there just to like do the tank, but they could have turned that around a lot quicker if they decided not to go that route. Not saying that that was the wrong move, but we could have at least skipped over the tenure. What about you, Chris?
Lou, we got a match.
Yeah.
That Ted Nolan part two run is what I would like to skip over. For pretty much the same reason that you said. It was so just context in the thing. We lose Lindy Ruff. We're moving on. We go with Amherst's sweetheart, Ron Rolston, for about 6 weeks. And then go, you know what? We should call our ex. And go with the Ted Nolan nonsense. That led to, I feel like that just getting people hyped led to a couple other bad decisions on this coaching tree. And I mean, I've actually met Ted before. He seemed like a really nice guy, but man, oh man, does he have a problem with coaching, because he'll coach somewhere for a couple years and then never coach anywhere for another 7 or 8. We wish him
Ted
well.
Nolan the coach when we were actually going for the Eichel tank? Was that the Eichel tank year?
Yeah. You got didn't he get like a half a year after Olsen, right? And then the whole
and
tank
then
year.
the full season afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to respectfully disagree, because that was the most fun I've had being a Sabres
Honestly.
since the playoff runs. No joke. Like, I was invested in that season, and I know it was really perverted, and like looking up the standings and hoping one of those teams had pulled out a win so they would jump above you. And I mean, but God, I could have told you everything about those Coyote teams back then. I mean, that's got to be a drought trivia thing too. At one point, I mean, we got to just study, Cam Atkinson trivia and just pull all that out. But all right, so my pick, it's a respectable pick, because I get it. If you want to skip something that was just like an utterly meaningless era of hockey, plus it was just kind of like, it very much was like a minor league move. It felt like, just by hiring Ted back. So yeah, I mean, that's embarrassing. But for me, when you pose this question, I want to answer it in a way that's going to, like, when did we really start to like have this next, like this second part of the drought kind of fall apart? And for me, that's when Housley was here. So when we had Housley here, it was after Biosma, and like we still had a chance to save stuff. I mean, we had O'Reilly, and we had Eichel and Reinhardt, and like that's. But we were so bad at that time. By the time Kruger got here, I mean that was already gone. Like the ship had sailed. They had the relationship had soured, and like if we had a legitimate coach, I just wondered if we maybe at that time maybe we don't end up in the dumpster like we do that we've been. So my pick is Housley.
I
All right.
like that pick. I like that pick a lot. That was the follow up. That was my second choice to the Ted Nolan era, which I feel like Phil Housley was because of the nostalgia of the Ted Nolan working and them going, hey, he's a former Sabre. He was a good Sabre. He'll make a great coach.
Yeah. And whether it was fabricated or not, or created or not, it felt like he had some credibility because he was with Nashville at that time. But yeah, it was not good, and ultimately is what I think led a lot of the players out of town.
I'm going to go right back with you to lead off our last question on this in this category is like which guy would you have cut sooner? Which guy did we hang on to too long?
Yeah, if we're skipping Housley altogether, then I would like to just maybe cut bait after 1 year with Bilesma, and it relates, I guess, to my first pick with Boudreaux. But then we would have had a chance to hire him if they had canned him after the first year. And I remember, there was discussion because Eichel kind of hated him. The players were talking about how much they didn't like playing for him. He was doing some of those stupid lineup things. So yeah, I mean there was a chance. So just 1 year of Dan Biosma would be a correction that again would have, I think, a ripple effect potentially. But hindsight's 2020.
Chris, what about you?
I mean, I hate to keep just agreeing with a great point earlier, but I would have also cut ties with Phil Housley earlier. Once again, I just feel like it's a cascade in this Nolan, Bilesma, Housley thing. Actually, you said Bilesma, right?
I picked Biosma for this, but I would skip Housley altogether. Yeah.
So that's how it tied in.
Yeah.
I would have moved on from Phil Housley earlier. Probably 1 year in, it's supposed to be working, and it's not at this point. He had success as an assistant, but he isn't proven as a head coach. And, I guess this is a little bit of a cheat with it, but it would avoid the Ralph Kruger monstrosity that was somehow worse than world events of 2020.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go the easy route. I'm gonna pick Kruger here, and I would have fired Kruger the day that he started putting Jeff Skinner on the fourth line. Not that Skinner didn't deserve some punishment here and there, but he literally wasted a full year of when he could have still been scoring 30, 35 goals a year. It was that's when I was done with him. I probably should have been done with him sooner, but yeah, I would have cut Kruger way sooner than what he got. Yeah, so that was fun. That was good. We'll do that with like maybe some free agents and maybe some players from the drought. It'll be we'll make it kind of a regular thing. Let's move on to talk about. I wanted each of us to talk about two free agents that we wanted the Sabres to target. Let's start with Ryan on one of yours, and then we'll go around and do one apiece.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and file this in the category of, yeah, this is almost 0% chance of happening. The only chance this might happen is because Mitch Marner is very smart and he likes the Bills and he likes Josh Allen. But I love the idea of Mitch Marner on the Sabres, and I don't give a shit what it costs to pay him. We have supposedly we could go drill another oil well or whatever it is that he drills, and you just pay the man his money, okay?
Your mom. Sorry, it's pretty late. That was pretty
That
late, but
was
that was
worth it
that
30 seconds later.
The
Sorry,
payoffs
go ahead.
there.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, listen, I can't. I no longer have a point after that. That's the whole point.
Sorry.
Mitch Marner.
You heard
Mitch
it, Mitch.
Marner.
If you want to sign here, you can drill Ryan's mom.
You got it right there. That's it. This is so crazy that I'm saying this, but I don't think it's as far fetched as you're making it. I think that they would be willing. I've said this all along that I think that the talking shit on Pagula is kind of or stupid sometimes and off base, because I think if he really believed in something, he would give them the okay to offer a max contract. The only thing is, as Kevin Adams likes to say, taxes and palm trees. Does he go get a max contract somewhere else, or does he want to come to Buffalo? But Bills Mafia, like you said,
Yeah,
I don't think it's crazy.
I don't know if Kevin Adams knows what a max contract is. I don't think he's he was authorized to do it. He would just be like, "I give you $1 gazillion," and be like, "Sir, that is not a real number. Like, I can't work with this."
Well,
I don't know. I would love to see it happen. I don't see it happening though.
Well, from Mitch Marner to Vladislav Gavrikov, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this guy. No, he is a realistic, I think, addition to the team. The only thing sucks is that he is another left-handed defenseman, so maybe this includes one going out somewhere or whatever. But I do. If you've been watching any of that Kings Oilers series, man, he's a beast. Plays great defensively. His offensive game has really picked up in the last year in LA, who I think plays very similar to our style. Like, I absolutely love the idea. He probably comes at like 5 to 6 million, like reasonable cost and tough, great defenseman. Power needs somebody to play with, man. Like, I just trying to find that perfect guy. I think he's a realistic fit. Chris.
Okay, this is perfect because I kind of fly in near both of you on this one, but I'm going to go. I was thinking about Mitch Marner, but I remember talking last week, Ryan, and you were also very high on trying to make some kind of a move for that. Let's say we can't get Mitch Marner, Toronto bags him up. I am sick of draft picks. I'm sick of the draft. I never want to hear about a prospect again. I want to offer sheet Matthew Nyes off of the Toronto Maple Leafs if we can't get Mitch. He's coming off of a 3-year deal. He's increased each season. He's a what is he, like a 60-point guy this year? He was like 40 last year. He's durable on a team that has seen a lot of injuries. And I think that potentially you could find him in a second line role, even though he's playing third line minutes in Toronto right now. But I think that that would be somebody that has a little bit of an NHL proven record for a young guy and can help motivate your mid-6, your second and third line guys, and we can move on from Peyton Krebs.
I like it.
Yeah, that is a really, really good thing that I haven't heard yet, and I'm kind of interested. What's the compensation probably that he would give? Would probably be 3 first, I think, with the money that he would be taking. But I don't, like you said, I don't care. Like, I'm done with, yeah.
There's so many 18, 19, and 20-year-olds in the pipeline in this place that I'm willing to take a couple years off of getting another one to just sit somewhere. You either got to move the picks or the people, and let's go.
Yeah. The Sabres are the Fatty Allen of teams. They're of 18, 19.
Ryan, who's your next?
Yes, my next pick again is never, ever going to happen in a million years. Okay, but this is one of those picks that if you were like in the video games, like in playing like a BGM mode, this is the easiest like signing in the offseason that you ever have. I'm gonna go sign Brad Marchand, and he's either probably maybe retiring. I mean, there's no chance he wants to come to Buffalo, but like damn it, for there being like an exemplar player of someone that you love to hate but would love him on your team. I mean, that's the perfect guy. He would recharge the bottom six, and even can give you some some second line minutes, I think, in a reduced role. You only need him for a limited, it's for the intangibles. I would love to get him into Sabres uni. And just FYI, I also am under like 10% battery, so I'm not sure exactly if I'll just like drop off.
Just fade away.
That's funny. You just pop out. All right, Chris, you go your second this time because I don't think you're gonna go mine.
Okay, Brad Marchand is a great one. By the way, I just want to say that I absolutely fucking hate him, but that's the kind of signing that I could get over that for. My other target that I'm going with is and I'm offer sheeting again. I'm going Evan Bouchard to get myself another right-handed defenseman. He is having a decent playoffs, considering that their starting goalie was made with Swiss cheese for the first two games. But he is, for the past 4 years, a plus double-digit defenseman. And we need a top 4 right-handed defenseman. And I think, once again, spare the picks, sign the man, and get some help in that top 4. Owen Power needs a friend.
Yeah. I'm going an interesting one that I think had some legs last year. And I think he is horrible statistically and analytically, but there might be a little bit of a need on the power play, and he still played at a decent level. Patty Kane coming home for a year. I think that's a strong possibility that he comes for a 1 year, 3 year deal just to close his career back home. And I know he's exactly opposite of what this team needs, but maybe they ship, a Quinn out or something like that. But we'll see how that goes. But Patty Kane would be him and Gabriel. I'm looking realistic, guys. They're not throwing money out like crazy. I love the Mitch Marner nice idea, but I do think there's no way that Tavares is another thought, but I think he really wants to stay in Toronto so he takes a hometown discount. But there's no way that they can keep Tavares, Marner, and Nyes. I do think Marner walks. I just don't know if it will be here. All right. We'll close out here with a little couple. I only have two trivia questions, drought trivia this week, so we'll make it quick. Only 3 years out of the drought have the Sabres beat their Vegas over-under from the start of the year. Can you name any of those years? Can you think of any of those years? It's been 3 years.
Over under what?
Their Vegas over-under from the start of the year. Any year that they beat that for points. Any year that they beat their projected points in Vegas.
Oh, okay. Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like Vegas set their over under. There's only 3 times that they've gotten the over.
Wow.
22-23 has to be one, right?
It is. They were projected to get 77.5. They got 91.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say last year was also one of those years.
Last year was not one of those years.
Okay then.
But if I can say this, you're very close. And if it
They like
wasn't 20,
just hit it last year, didn't they?
no, yeah, they
Or
were,
like
yeah,
a
they were
point
like,
under.
they were like 2 points under or something like that. But no, saying it very close. The one of the years is 21-22. Right before 22-23, they were projected for 68.5. They got 75. And then
Oh God.
I know,
That's
it's so
insane.
crazy. We showed them. And then one more year,
17,
which
18.
was no,
16, 17.
no. You guys are getting warmer. 15-16,
Really?
which is Eichel's
Oh,
first
it's gonna
year.
again.
75.5.
That's right. It wouldn't have been 16, 17 because Eichel got hurt. So that's right. 15, 16.
Yeah, 15-16. It was his 75.5. And they ended up getting 81. All right. Last question. The Sabres have had 10 players to make the NHL all rookie team all time. Okay. 5 of them have been during the drought. So they've had 10 players in the history make the all NHL all rookie team. 5 of those 10 players have been during the drought. Can you name those 5?
Jack Eichel.
Correct. Chris.
Rasmus Dahlin.
Correct. Ryan.
Rasmus Ristolainen.
Incorrect.
Damn it. I shouldn't have pulled that. I didn't need that. I mean, I could have gone with.
I mean, we're not. It's not a game. A game.
Man.
You could guess again.
Victor Olofsson.
Victor Olofsson's a good pull, and yes, you're right. So there's 3. So two more. One's relatively. What's that?
Reinhardt.
No. One's relatively easy, I think, and one's a tough pull. I'll say this.
Team?
What's that?
Are they both currently on the team or just one?
No, I'll say this. One was from the first 2 years of the drought, and this one's from the last 2 years of the drought.
Zemgus Girgensson.
No. That first one's going to be tough, I think. I don't know if I knew it until today.
Rookie in one of the first 2 years of the drought.
And then there's one that's currently on the team.
Huh.
Both
forwards?
What's that?
Are they both?
No. Nope. Actually, neither are forwards.
All right. Is one Nikita Zadorov?
No.
Ooh.
Oh, so wait a second. Goalie. Who would have been a goalie at that time? Would have been Enroth?
There you go, Jonas Enroth.
Oh,
Good one. That's a good pull. And now you're only missing the guy from the current team.
Power.
You guys hate this guy so much.
Not Owen Power, not UPL.
Owen Power.
Oh.
Owen Power.
Okay.
There it
Well,
is.
we don't hate him so much. I just said he needs a friend. I would like him better if he was more social. He's weird.
I'm a Power fan. I like Power.
Okay. Well, we're stopping 5 minutes early because Ryan made us 10 minutes late. and
His
but hey,
phone's gonna
we
die.
got your phone through, and
It didn't fall.
your toothpick held up. Awesome. We will be back next week to talk more playoffs, more drought trivia, and some more dumb games. Talk to you next week. Have a good one.